Ladies and gentlemen, and my dear friends, welcome to Tata Crucible, the Campus Quiz 2021. This year, the Campus Quiz is going to be an entirely digital experience. Thousands of you have been part of the preliminary rounds, from which we are now down to the 24 cluster rounds. The stage is set, and it just does not get bigger than this. Presenting the wildcards at the cluster rounds is the only lady professional quiz host across Asia, a lady who was among 40 under 40 in the year 2020 in that list. A prolific host, no new face to Tata Crucible. Time for you to welcome on stage Miss Rashmi Furtado.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and all you quizzers to Tata Crucible Campus Quiz 2021. We have had thousands of students taking part in the multiple preliminary rounds that we had. And today we are going to start the wildcard round for the Chhattisgarh cluster. Now the stage is set for the 24 cluster finals that we have set for them. Every cluster has 2 wildcards. And from the 2 wildcards, the top 6 scorers will move to the cluster final. The winner of the cluster final moves to the zonal final. Winner of the zonal final moves to the national final and subsequently into the international final. What we need to remember here is that this is the first time ever that Tata Crucible Campus Quiz has moved on to a digital platform. And all of you are taking part individually from the comfort of your home and, more importantly, the safety of your home. That's what's most important for us. Now let's start with the wildcard round for the Chhattisgarh cluster, the first wildcard here today. Let me introduce our contestants to you and then get into the rules of the game. First up, we have Abhinash from IIM Raipur. That's Abhinash for you. Following him is Ojas from ICAI. Up next is Anusha from NIT Raipur. Shambhavi from IIM Raipur. Following her is Ketan from IIIT Raipur. And completing our lineup here today is Ayush from Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya, shorter as GGV. So these are our contestants for this wildcard round. Let me quickly explain the rules of the game. I have 10 questions for all of you here today. All the 10 questions will be on the buzzer. Single attempt per question. Multiple attempts are not allowed. Nothing will appear on your screen, so you have to listen to what I have to say. If you press the buzzer while I'm still reading the question, I will stop reading the question because you are indicating to me that you already know the answer. After you press the buzzer, I will call out your name and you will immediately unmute yourself and give me the answer. This has to happen within 3 to 5 seconds. You can't take too long to unmute yourself and give me the answer. Also remember, you will press the buzzer when you know the answer. You cannot press the buzzer and then think about the answer. Every question will be valid for about 5 seconds. If none of you press the buzzer in the first 5 seconds, I will move on to the next question since the time would have lapsed for the previous question. The buzzers, guys, they are very sensitive. Please be very careful with the buzzers. A light touch will activate the buzzers. Once your name appears here, you have to give me an answer. At that point, you cannot tell me that you pressed the buzzer by mistake. It has happened previously in one of the wildcard rounds. Hence, I'm cautioning all of you. For all your audience, the audience questions will be asked in the cluster final. Also, the buzzer indicator light would not be appearing during the wildcard, but I will tell you who has pressed the buzzer. And like I said earlier, 3 out of the 6 of them will qualify to the cluster final. Contestants, remember, this is a qualifier round. 3 of you qualify to the cluster final. Winning does not matter in this wild card. Winning is a target for you at the cluster final, but not here at the wild card. So don't get too carried away by wanting to win this wild card, okay? Qualifying is what matters the most. All right, so if all of you are ready, good luck. Let's start with the first question. Here we go. Which beverage brand was developed by researchers in the University of Florida for their student athletes? Red Bull or Gatorade? Ojas, go ahead.
Gatorade.
Giving him a +1 on that. Right answer, Gatorade. Question number 2. As we clear the buzzers, here we go. Following George Floyd's protests, Quaker Oats recently decided to... Abhinash, go ahead.
They decided to not go with Aunt Jemima anymore. Aunt Jemima, which was very related to Quaker Oats. So after the George Floyd protest, they decided to cut down on them.
I just said George Floyd protests and Quaker Oats, and he says Aunt Jemima. +1 to you. Absolutely right. He's well prepared. The question would have gone further, saying that Quaker Oats recently decided to retire or rebrand which 130-year-old brand, acknowledging its origins are based on racial stereotypes. The answer, Aunt Jemima. Moving on, question number 3. Here we go. Which brand's mascot, nicknamed Poppin' Fresh, apart from its most popular nomenclature, was created by Leo Burnett? A brand name for an answer here. Think of food. Oh, no one going for this. Poppin' Fresh, I thought, was a good clue. Okay, 5 seconds of time is up. The answer I was looking for, Pillsbury. The Pillsbury Doughboy, which is the more commonly known nomenclature, the actual name, or he's also known as Poppin' Fresh. All right, moving on. Question number 4. Mike Lazardis is the founder of which once super famous phone brand? Abhinash, go ahead.
Is it BlackBerry?
+1. Absolutely right. BlackBerry giving him a +1 on that. And with this, he's on 2 already. We're just done with 4 questions in this wild card. Honestly, 2 is a good score to maintain to qualify into a cluster final. But many more questions remaining, too soon to comment. Question number 5. Here we go. The spirit of ecstasy can be associated with which? Ojas, go ahead.
Rolls-Royce.
Rolls-Royce giving him a +1. I would continue to ask associated with which automobile brand? Rolls-Royce gives him a +1 on that. We'll clear the buzzers and we'll move on to question number 6. Here we go. 501, 505, 529, 550, 559 and 560. These are all few model numbers of their products. Name the company. A clothing brand. Abhinash, go ahead.
Levi's.
Levi's, absolutely right. +1 on that. He gets a +1 on Levi's. All right, great. Moving on. I think Abhinash has decided to not try for the remaining questions. I think he thinks 3 is good enough for him to move on. All right, let's see what happens. Question number 7. Here we go. Which sporting goods company has tied up with Instagram where the users can create their unique product by just uploading pictures on Instagram for the ZX Flux range of products? A popular shoe brand for an answer. They've tied up with Instagram. They can create their own unique product. Oh, no one going for this. The answer I was looking for was Adidas or Adidas, whatever you want to call it. That's the right answer. 3 more questions remaining, and I have Abhinash on 3 and Ojas on 2. What we need to see here is that no one took a negative. When they don't know the answer, they just stay quiet and don't go for a negative. That's another good strategy. Moving on, question number 8. Red, the Blues, Matilda, Chuck, Bomb, Hall, Terence, Bubbles, Stella, and Ice are all types of what? created by Rovio? Abhinash, go ahead.
Angry Birds.
Absolutely right. +1 to you. Angry Birds is right. I really thought Rovio should be a very good clue for all of you. All right, it's safe to say Abhinash is through. He's on +4. Ojas is on 2. Good score to maintain. Question number 9. Here we go. Keybase was acquired by a video conferencing platform in the year 2020. Which video conferencing platform am I talking about? This company became very famous in the year 2020. Oh, come on. Come on, this is easy. Ketan, go ahead.
Zoom.
+1. Absolutely right. Sometimes you should not overthink on all these questions. Zoom is the right answer. Shambhavi is smiling. I think she thought Zoom but didn't go for it. Just need to take a chance sometimes, Shambhavi. The last question of this wildcard. Here we go. Which actor has been recently roped in as a brand ambassador by Bajaj Alliance Life? All right, I'll help you out. Akshay Kumar or Ayushmann Khurrana? Ayush, go ahead.
Ayushmann Khurrana.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Ayushmann Khurrana giving him a +1 on that. Ladies and gentlemen, Abhinash and Ojas have made it to the cluster final. Their scores are 4 and 2 respectively. But I have a tiebreaker to settle now between Ketan and Ayush. And we will see who secures that third spot. Ketan and Ayush, sudden death. I will ask a question. You get it right, you move on. You get it wrong, the other person moves into the cluster final. Brian Acton and Jan Quom founded which messaging service that was later bought by a giant in the social media business? Ketan, go ahead.
WhatsApp.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. WhatsApp gives him the +1, the much needed +1. And with that, Ketan has joined Abhinash and Ojas to the cluster final. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, our 3 finalists for the cluster finals. Thank you so much for joining us for this wildcard. But stay tuned, the second wildcard is coming up in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, and all you quizzers, welcome to the Tata Crucible Campus Quiz 2021. We are here at the second wildcard of the Chhattisgarh cluster. Let me introduce all of our cluster contestants, or rather our wildcard contestants to you, and then move into the rules of the game. We have already identified the first 3 finalists from the first wildcard, and now we will see who from these 6 will qualify into the cluster final. First up, we have Gaurav from IIIT Naya Raipur. Following him is Nikhil from IIM Raipur. Up next is Praveer from NIT Raipur. Prarabh from IIT Bhilai. Vishesh from NIT Raipur. And completing our lineup is Rishabh from NIT Raipur. Good luck, guys. Question number 1. Here we go. Sheer driving pleasure is the tagline of which powerful brand from Germany? An automobile brand, of course. Nikhil, go ahead.
Is it Jaguar?
-1 on that. BMW, the answer I was looking for. A German brand, I said. BMW would have given you that much needed +1. Moving on to question number 2. Here we go. Workfront, known for its online work management software, was acquired by a company better known for their design software. Identify this company. Very, very well known, guys. It's almost a household term. Rishabh, go ahead.
Is it Adobe?
+1. Absolutely right. Adobe gives him that +1. Moving on, question number 3. Here we go. Identify the social media giant that bought Customer. Customer is spelled with a K. They are into customer service. They specialize in customer service actually. Very huge social media platform, guys. Okay, no one trying. These are easy questions. The answer I was looking for is Facebook. Facebook, in fact, acquired a Customer, if I'm not wrong, in the year 2020. It's very, very recent. And I think it was somewhat around a $1 billion acquisition or something like that. Question number 4. Here we go. Google provided a video conferencing platform free of cost for everyone in the year. Praveer, go ahead.
Google Meet.
Google Meet gives him the +1. Absolutely right. Moving on. Question number 5. Here we go. Which technology-related company is referred to as Big Blue? Vishesh, go ahead.
IBM.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. IBM gives him the +1. Moving to question number 6 of the game. Here we go. The founder of which app said this about the company's logo? An elephant never forgets. And that's what it's all about. Go ahead, Prarabdh.
Evernote.
Evernote is right, and that gives him a +1. Beautiful answer. Question number 7. Here we go. The name of which company means sunrise in the Japanese language? Rishabh, go ahead.
Is it Nippon?
-1 on that. The answer I was looking for was Hitachi. Hitachi would have given you that +1. 3 more questions remaining, and as of now, I have Praveer, Prarabdh, and Vishesh, all of them on +1 apiece. Nikhil has taken a -1, but I have 3 more questions, so he can negate it and move into the positives. Let's see what happens. Question number 8. Here we go. The AIA group is listed on the main board of which stock exchange? Stock Exchange of Hong Kong or the Bombay Stock Exchange? Nikhil, go ahead.
Is it the Stock Exchange of Hong Kong?
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Headquartered at Hong Kong. They are listed at the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Okay, moving on. Question number 9. Here we go. Which company started by Sher Wang and Peter Chow is credited with creating the world's first Android smartphone? Nikhil on the buzzer. Go ahead, Nikhil.
It is HTC.
HTC gives him that +1. Absolutely right, Nikhil. Moving on. The last question of the wild card. The 4 of them are on +1. Let's see what happens. I think they're going to force me into a tiebreaker. Last question. Here we go. Which video game maker derives its name from the shortened form of the company Service Games? Nikhil, go ahead.
It is Sega.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Sega gives him the much needed +1, and Nikhil has secured his spot in the cluster final. But now I have Praveer, Prarabdh, and Vishesh, all 3 of them on +1 each. And I have to break the tie here because I have only 2 more spots remaining in that cluster final. Okay, so these following questions are only for the 3 of you, Praveer, Prarabdh, and Vishesh. The rest of you can keep your phones down. Sudden death, guys. You get it right, you qualify. You get it wrong, the other 2 will automatically qualify. Okay, because 2 spots are remaining in the cluster final. Remember that. All right. I'm finding a good question for you. Okay, here we go. The name of the soap brand is derived from synthetic phenol. Which brand am I talking about? I said soap brand and I said synthetic phenol. Come on, this is an easy one. Vishesh, go ahead.
Synthol.
Absolutely right. Synthol will give you the +1, and you have taken the 2nd spot in that cluster final. All right, we have Praveer and Prarabdh who will continue to play this tiebreaker. Here we go. Which automobile company manufactures the brand Marazzo? I'll give you options here. Make it a little simpler. Toyota or Mahindra? Praveer, go ahead.
It's a guess. I'm saying Toyota.
Oh, -1 on that, Praveer. Mahindra would have given you that much needed +1. I figured when you smiled that it was a guess, but sometimes you just have to go ahead and give it a shot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with this, Nikhil, Prarabdha and Vishesh have made it to the cluster final after that grueling tiebreaker there, and they have taken the last 3 spots in the cluster final. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. The cluster final is coming up in just a few moments, so stay tuned.
Friends, put your hands together to welcome on stage Quizmaster Big Brain.
Hello and a warm welcome to each and every one of you. You're with me, Pig Brain, here today at yet another cluster final as we slowly move up the country from the southern terrains after watching all those outstanding battles from the clusters of the south to the central part of India. And in the last couple of years, given the flourish of newer institutes in the central part of India, this hub has become an extremely interesting hub for talent, passion, and tremendous amount of participation and great performance at quiz shows. We are here today at the Chhattisgarh cluster, which is how we call it, but it is a combination of, in many ways, central India, which also includes Bhopal, etc. So it's not just Chhattisgarh as a state, but we're looking more at central India and one of the central India locations here today. Let me first begin by introducing our contestants to you who've gone through grueling rounds of preliminaries, who've gone through the wildcards that you just witnessed with Rashmi Furtado, and she selected the following 6 to appear in the final for this cluster. One among them will go through into the big final of 24 across the country, and then if they progress further, they would be in the national final of this quiz. But for the moment, we'll pick their introductions. But before I even do that, let me acquaint you with the rules. We're going to have 24 questions all on the buzzer, 100 the value of a right answer, whether they get it right or wrong. So you get it right, you get a plus, you get a minus if you get it wrong. 5 seconds is all they have to crack a question. That's the window of opportunity for them, else the question lapses. So if we are ready, let's take a look at who our wonderful contestants are and then start playing this edition of Tata Crucible from the central region of India. As we begin with our first finalist here today, and it is my pleasure to introduce our first contestant from the Indian Institute of Management at Raipur, Abhinash. Welcome to you, Abhinash, into our final here today, and neighboring him from the Institute for Chartered Accountants of India as our second finalist, Ojas. Welcome, Ojas, into the final. Neighboring him as our third contestant from IIIT Raipur, a reputed institute these days with outstanding talent coming out, especially from the central part of India and Hyderabad, is Ketan from IIIT Raipur. Welcome to you. As our next contestant, also representing IIM Raipur, is Nikhil. As our next contestant, welcome to you, Nikhil. As we progress to Bhilai, and with an IIT there, it is now Prabhat who joins us from IIT Bhilai. Welcome to you. And NIT Raipur. Completing our lineup here today, representing NIT Raipur, is Vishesh. Welcome to you. So those then are our contestants here today, as we are going to play Tata Crucible with them and identify one winner. Well, IIM seems to be doing very well this year. We've got two of them representing in this final. They took South India by storm in many ways. IIM has won at Bengaluru. IIM won Kozhikode. IIM won Trichy. So IIM's won multiple, dislodging Chennai. And that was a big victory for IIM Trichy. So IIMs have been doing well in the southern terrain. Let's see what happens in central India. IIM Raipur traditionally does well. The next central India, we'll also see IIM Nagpur. So these are all the new IIM locations which are doing extremely well with the talent that they all have. But for the moment, we've got traditional challengers all lining up, and then you always have a chartered accountant who can teach you mathematics even in a quiz competition. But for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, the first frontier of our battle here today, it's time for the contestants to get swifter. Here it comes. All of you contestants can hold your buzzers up. Careful, 100 the value. You decide when you want to buzz. Starting with the first one on your screens now. The specific brand that is endorsed by this lady from the world of Tanishq. From Tanishq, I want you to tell me a specific brand. 3 simple letters for an answer. For the working woman, it's a new creation from Tanishq. Well, no one going for it, all men on screen. So they certainly haven't got themselves acquainted with working wear, etc. by Tanishq for women. The answer that I was looking for is the Mia collection. Huge ambassadors coming in, not a tough one, but just that, it's probably early days. The second one on your screen, here it comes. Identify the FMCG that is behind this extremely popular brand, Revive. Ojas has gone for it. Yes, Ojas? Your mic is on mute, Ojas. I can see you answering, but...
Tata Consumer Products.
Oh, that's a minus to him. The answer is Marico Industries. So he takes a minus 100 on that, but he took a chance on it. As we go to the next one, and on your screen, here's your question. Identify this instant messaging and digital distribution platform for creating communities. It has a very interesting name. Vishesh has gone for it, and he's from NIT Raipur. Yes, Vishesh?
Discord.
Is superb. He'll get himself 100 on that. And that's the first 100 coming up on a positive in this dashboard. As we go to the next one, on your screen, who owns this brand? Antiseptic hand sanitizers have perhaps become the new beverages of a sort. Everyone's buying it in the liters. All you got to tell me is which pharma company. Workable question. Someone's gone for it. Ketan. Yes, Ketan.
Cipla.
Well played. Cleverly played, well played. He'll get it in the nick of time. 100 to Ketan. The penultimate one in the first frontier on screen now. This is a personality after whom the Shanghai court had actually ruled. And this is a company called the Guangdong Sports Company, who brought a lawsuit against a famous player for an unauthorized use of its trademark. Because in Chinese, Guangdong translated to this personality's name. Nikhil has gone for it. Go ahead, Nikhil.
Is it Michael Jordan?
Guangdong in Chinese translates to the word Jordan. Absolutely perfect. He'll get himself 100. Oh, everyone is shaping well. Just want to hold your buzzers up, guys. As we go to the next one on your screen, the final one. Here it comes. Who acquired this publishing platform to enter the newsletters and subscription space? It's an interesting company which has certain amount of word limits and that fit the bio well. Vishesh is giving it a shot. Yes, Vishesh?
Twitter.
Well played. from NIT Raipur. He'll get onto an early lead, but I'll tell you where that exactly is. But for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a couple of audience questions lined up for you. And while the contestants take a little bit of a breather, you can type your answers into that chat box. And when you do that, you can win prizes from the Tatas. So here are my questions and quickly type it into the chat box as you watch this quiz on the internet. It doesn't matter where you're watching it, whichever social platform, just use the chat box. Here's the first one. It's a great campaign in India, created or conceived in the 1960s, later half of the 60s, by Sylvester Dacuna and Fernandez of ASP, which was an advertising agency at the time. The objective was to actually grab the attention of homemakers as they went out, shopping, etc., so they could see outside and get impressed. Which great campaign am I talking about? To this day, captures our imagination through its hoardings. I thought I made it easy on the last part. Anyway. Well, here's the next one. Yeah, just type your answers in, and here's the next one. It's the name of an Indian copper coin, technically, which was circulated around the 18th century. It's derived from the Sanskrit word for small, and it therefore became a denomination of currency in India. What's the word that I'm looking for? So, those then are your first two audience questions as we will take a look at Crucible Quotient before we progress. Here it comes. On our screen, oh, look at that battle. It's an interesting start. We've got two of them on 100 and two on 200. That's a good score for the first round. So, Ojas is on 100, Ketan is on 100. No, sorry, Ketan's on 100, Nikhil is on 100, and Vishesh is on 200 with that last answer on Twitter. And Ojas is on a -100, but these are people who can recover it very quickly. As we go to the second frontier, time for you to play sharper. Here it comes. If you could hold your buzzers up on screen, here's the first one. Now, which company from the world of Tatas would you associate to Zero Sugar NX, which is next, the brand that we are looking at? A famous company now, a strategic decision, the Tatas did something, Zero Sugar comes under the portfolio of that company. Anybody? None going for it. Someone has. Abhinash. Just in the nick of time. Go ahead, Abhinash.
Is it Tata Consumer Products?
Well played. Well played. Zero Sugar comes under consumer products, and it's a company from the Tatas that's doing phenomenally well, and a very good 100 to you. As we go to the next one on your screens, here it comes. This is a book about doing business the Dash way. From Agarwal and Goenka, it basically chronicles the building of a phenomenal brand with a touch of Ayurveda, with a touch of classical Indian ingredients, creating beautiful care for especially women and later men. Phenomenal company, more in skincare. They're also big in shampoos, etc. Anybody on that? Nobody taking a chance? Well, the answer that I was looking for, and you're going to kick yourself on it, the Imami way. Well, Imami is a big brand today in India. As we go to the next one on screen, which giant is your answer? Here it comes. Domex. A brand is big. Ojas is going for it. Yeah, Ojas.
Hindustan Unilever.
Is a good answer. He'll negate his negative there with that answer. And that's a good one to crack. Everyone's seen Domex, but sometimes these are irritating questions. Sodium hypochlorite. Well, here's the next one on your screen. All you got to tell me is whose campaign is this? Prarabh has gone for it. Yes?
SEBI.
Very good. Very good answer. Confident he knew it. And he'll get himself 100 on that one. And that takes him to 100. It's becoming a phenomenal scorecard here from the central part of India. But I'll tell you all of that as we progress. Here's the next one coming on your screen now. Incoming fun. Which brand encourages the audience to not let fun be the casualty of you growing up? It's a phenomenal brand. It's a fun brand. The logo itself has a long history on who designed it and so on. The font is a good clue. Anybody taking a shot at it? All right, 5 seconds of time lapsing on that. The answer that I was looking for is Chupa Chups. Everyone's then saying yes. Now I know the font. As we go to the next one, that's a tough one there actually from the font. But here's the next one on your screens now. This is a famous campaign. Is Jeet mein swag hai? Which brand? Nikhil.
Is it Pepsi?
Lovely. Oh, well played. The swag campaign of Pepsi will give him a 100. And I think that puts him in the lead along with Vishesh, if my mental math is correct. But for the moment, we'll progress to the next one. Hands on that buzzer. Here it comes. Which company owns this Taj Mahal inspired interiors, a development center in Noida? Vishesh.
Microsoft.
Oh, extremely well played. Extremely well played. We'll give it to you, Microsoft India, but that's good enough. As we go to the next one on your screens, here's the question coming up now. This is a giant in the paint industry from Japan. Large in India as well. Ojas has gone for it.
Kansai Nerolac.
Very well played. Oh, very, very well played. He's got that and he's got that in quick time. So he'll get himself 100. I tell you what, we have not had a scorecard like this at Tata Crucible so far. Everyone's on 100, one of them on 200, one on 300. But I'll tell you all of that as we progress, as we go into the next one on your screen now. This is a superb campaign for Masala Dosa in North India. Oh, Ojas is going for it. Yes, Ojas. Whose campaign?
Zomato.
Well played. Well played on that. Well, he seems to be a platinum customer of Zomato, knows that absolutely quick on. Well, here's the next one coming. That's a good 100 to get, and he's really bounced back from a minus 100 to, I think, 200 now. Overall answer is what matters on your screen now. All of these come under the same ministry. All you got to tell me is which ministry. Prarabh has gone for it.
Ministry of Telecommunication.
Oh, minus 100 to you. All of these come under the Ministry of Mines in India. And from central India, you give us all the wonderful mines and minerals. You should have known that. That's a negative to him. As we go to the next one, hands on that buzzer. What connects all of these? Vishesh is giving it a shot. Go ahead, Vishesh.
These are RBI governors, former.
All former RBI governors. Do you know them?
I know Raghuram Rajan.
Who does
and,
not? Well,
I think I have Subbu Rao is somewhere there, but I cannot identify him.
all right. That is Y.V. Reddy, Rangarajan, Bimal Jalan, and Dr. Raghuram Rajan, of course, there. But that'll give you 100. And from NIT Raipur, he is playing the game well as he gets another 100 into his kitty. As we go to the final question in this frontier on your screens now. Careful when you play it. This is a laboratory. Oh, 5 seconds of time lapsing on that. None of them going for it. They call it the Moore Lab, but the company is known, of course, as Dr. Moore Pen. And Moore Labs is how they refer to it, but turns out to be a tough one on that last one. But ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at an absolutely riveting final here from the central part of India, from this cluster. It is traditionally a good cluster. These are good quizzers. But for the moment, even before we move to the next frontier, or before that, to show you the scores, let me do one more audience question for all those of you watching on the internet. Let me ask you this. It's a region which is strongly fostered by multiple Tata companies. So let me ask you this one. Which is the only city in India to be named after a businessman? Now that's a unique tribute to the world of business. Just one city is officially named after a businessman. All you got to type is the name of the city. Go ahead. Key in your answers, and let's take a look at Crucible quotient coming up on your screen. Here it is. Oh, look at that scorecard. Well, Prarabh was also on 100. He's just lost a little bit of ground, but he's good when he's good. Look at the speed at which he answered. Sebi, two of them on 100, two of them on 200. But leading this quiz is the young lad from NIT Raipur, is Vishesh. He is on 400. He's taking on the management institutes. He's taking on the chartered accountant, and he is in the lead with 200 points pair of the others, but then 200 can become, a little less if one of the 200s get another 100. So not really a clear lead to win from here, but he'll have to play it carefully. But that's a good lead nonetheless. It's certainly better than a 100-point lead. As we move into the final frontier of this cluster, time for all the teams and the contestants here to think smarter. Here it comes. The value remains 100, but the strategy in this round completely changes. You are allowed to stop me while I'm reading the question, which means you think you're smart and you know the answer. You're allowed to exercise that smartness. Press the buzzer. I'll stop reading the question so you can outsmart your other contestants and answer when you think you know the answer. So, if you're ready, play it carefully. It's also decision making that comes into play in a modern world where all of us need to learn to be swifter, sharper, and smarter. Final frontier will determine who goes into the top 24 of this nation. The many thousands that have taken part, you're in the cluster final. That's a big achievement in itself. But for the moment, the first question. All buzzers on view, hands on the buzzer. First question. The 3-point seatbelt was developed in its modern form by a Swedish inventor named Bolin for a particular automobile company. Vishesh has gone for it.
Volvo.
Are you into automobile engineering?
Kind of.
All right. He knows Volvo so quickly, and that was a little bit of a surprise for me. But he'll get himself 100, and that's a very good 100 because that takes him to 500. That's a good one to do. Get early in the last round. Increase your lead. Now it puts pressure. Question number 2. It is also known as the City of Lights, in part because it was the first to adopt gas street lighting. They also hosted the first neon lights in 1910, thanks to a French chemist who later was known as the Edison of Dash. Which city in Europe are we talking about? Even to this day, you find beautiful lights hanging in that romantic city. 5 seconds of time ticking away. Just the city for an answer. Ketan's taking a shot. Go ahead, Ketan.
Paris.
Is correct. Oh, in the nick of time, Ketan gets 100. He moves to 200, I think. Every 100 starts to complicate this battle. 4 questions to go. Here's the next one. These trees, you heard me correct. These trees are the biggest living things on the planet. They can grow up to 275 feet tall and 25 feet in diameter. They therefore represent the strength of venture capital and has been the name of a venture capital firm that has been of immense repute. Abhinash.
Is it Sequoia?
Sequoia is actually the name of a tree. Lovely. Oh, beautiful quizzing. Sequoia Capital will give him another 100. I've got 3 questions to go, but I'm tempted to give you the scores. Abhinash is on 200, Ojas is on 200, Ketan is on 200, Nikhil is on 200, and leading this quiz by a slender margin on 500 with 3 questions to go, which means either of them has to give it a run, is Vishesh. But if Vishesh does survive, because 300 can be too much in 3 questions sometimes, you still need someone to play an MS Dhoni out there. But the second place becomes a super interesting battle then. And if Prarabdh gets the next 3 right, he still has a chance to win the second place. So, super interesting battle from Central India as we go to the next question. They own the trademark to 2 horse and a log, an identity from 1853. Ojas is giving it a shot.
Levi's.
Oh, brilliant. 2 horses and a log will take him to 300 and puts him in line to chase Vishesh. Else, he might just play careful for the runner-up. It's good money at a Tata Crucible. As we go to the penultimate question. This product was not black in color till 1912. It was when carbon got added to the formula for preservative and strengthening that it became black. Abhinash.
Is it Coca-Cola?
Oh, well, that's a minus 100 to him. Well, the answer is rubber tires. Our tires were never black in color. They were white in color. It's only because carbon got added that today all the tires are black, and we have forgotten that at a point in time in this world, tires even looked white. It brings a smile to our face sometimes when you think of tires being white. One final question. Will need you to hold your hands up. Ketan and Nikhil in the battle for the second place, with Ojas just ahead of them. Vishesh for sure looks like he's going to go into the top 24. Even if he chooses to take a negative, he's safe. So he is in a very safe position. Final question. Here we go. V.K. Arora started this basmati processing unit in Sonepat in 1984. People laughed at him when he roped in Amitabh Bachchan as a brand ambassador to market basmati rice. Nikhil has gone for it.
Is it Dawat?
Well, Dawat it is. And that's a Dawat for Ojas to come and play a tiebreaker. Extremely well answered. It's Nikhil of IIM versus Ojas of ICAI in the tiebreaker. But let's not forget, it's been a clinical performance by Vishesh from NIT Raipur. Let's take a quick look at the scores just to be sure I've got my math right. Oh, there you are. I think I've got my mental arithmetic absolutely right. Ketan just missing out from triple IT there. He really tried to fight back. And Abhinash losing 100, else he would have been out there. Nikhil finishing with 300, Ojas finishing with 300. What a final we are witnessing. Vishesh really playing it calm, cool and collective. From NIT Raipur, he will go into the top 24 of this country, putting NIT back into that winning streak. NIT Raipur is a very, very good quizzing college. And after the IIMs got set up there, they've been winning and losing more to IIMs. But this time he's pulled one back for his institute, and he's done that absolutely well. But for the moment, we've got a tiebreaker to settle between these people as we go to the 2 of you. If you are ready, hands on the buzzer. It's between Ojas and Nikhil. Question to both of you. This specific entity from the Tata Group focuses on providing a lifelong learning platform for people who want to learn on their own. They are better known for their association with CAT, a popular entrance exam that all of you are more than familiar with. Ojas has gone for it. Which Tata entity am I talking about?
TCS or TCS Ion?
TCS or TCS Ion? Ojas is being really specific, and that specific answer gets him the runner-up title. Oh, well played, Ojas. Oh, look at that. Whether it's on ground or whether it's online, the fist goes up when you win. Well played, Nikhil. I think your comeback on Dawat was outstanding. It's not easy to get a last question like that right, and that was brilliant by him. But ladies and gentlemen, in this remarkable final, as we celebrate knowledge, you all can keep your buzzers down. You get used to it over a period of time. And it's my pleasure to right away bring in a very senior member of the Tata fraternity, someone who's got experience across Tata companies. It's wonderful to see these senior people taking their time off to be with us here today to encourage you youngsters. Otherwise, the Tatas have really nothing in this quiz except to build a better future for India. Single objective from a quiz like this. And with more than 2 million followers over the last 16 years, they've literally created an institution out of Tata Crucible simply because of the support of people like this. It's our pleasure and privilege to have amongst us here today a gentleman who travels a lot in the terrain that you all are from. He does an enormous amount of traveling in those terrains. He's currently the Chief of Marketing and Sales at Tata Steel for its products. Mr. Sanjay Sani, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, apologies for pulling you onto this at short notice, but we wanted someone, so I'll apologize on behalf of the team, but truly appreciate your presence here today. Can we have your first reaction to these youngsters?
Yeah, a very good evening, and in fact, very happy to get this invite. And in fact, I was watching for last about 15-20 minutes, and it was really exciting. So I used to quiz way back when I was in school, 35 years back. So happy to be here, and in fact, really enjoyed. So well done to all the youngsters.
So, given that people like you who come from leadership positions have really seen a year which even the greatest of leaders could not forecast, having gone through what you went through, what would be a learning that you've taken away that you can share with youngsters like this who've got a lifetime ahead of them, sir?
Yeah, thanks. A good question, and very relevant, especially due to the COVID times we've all seen. So this is my question. This answer is for the youngsters. And when I'd also passed my engineering way back in '94, joined Tata Motors, and I didn't know what was in front. I think very important for each one of you is to have a very positive and strong attitude. Second is to be flexible in life. Life will keep throwing things which you will never plan, and you will never know. And if you accept it and you make the best out of it, you will be a winner. It's a journey. It's not about reaching a particular company or a post. I started from production, went to vendor product development, spare part supply chain, went to Tata International, Kabul, Afghanistan, Tehran, Iran, sales. Now I head marketing and sales for this thing. So I started from procurement. Now I'm in marketing and sales. So be positive, keep moving ahead, be flexible in life, and you look around from all angles, and you will see opportunity in each and every problem. And that is how we at Tata Steel also, we were very agile responding back to the COVID challenge. And I think our results and numbers are coming out. We will have one of the best performances in this year. So when it got tough, the complete team rallied, and we've delivered the best for the company and for the group, and also for our consumers.
So well said. I think that's a profound message for all these youngsters. Thank you so much, sir. We'll not hold you any further. Thank you so much for joining us. Truly appreciate your presence. But just for a brief moment as we do the digital celebration, for our runner-up here today from ICAI, Ojas, congratulations to you, 18,000 as our runner-up here today. That's a lot of money in these conditions. That's a lot of money in any condition. But in the current circumstances, it's even more perhaps. But ladies and gentlemen, one young man not getting really fluttered by the scenario around him, playing his game, playing to his strength, emerging the champion, Vishesh from NIT Raipur. Extremely well played, 35,000 to him. It takes him into the nation's top 24, gets a deserving applause from his worthy opponents here today. Fantastic, well played, Vishesh, and congratulations to you. Thank you so much, sir. We will let you go at this stage, but for now, for joining us here today, truly, we really appreciate your presence. Thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, after that remarkable final, the journey of Central India begins. And these 6 youngsters have set the stage on fire. It doesn't really matter who won. I mean, it was an outstanding quiz. Really close. Look at that scorecard. I always look at good cities by looking at the total of all the 6 contestants. And I would like to believe the total of these 6 contestants would probably be the highest in India. That's the way they've played. I mean, it's more than 1,500, 1,600 as a total score, which is remarkable. 6 outstanding quizzers, 1 remarkable final. You are watching the Central India first final from this cluster, Tata Crucible 2021. From me, Pig Brain, from my colleague Rashmi, from all of us here at the studios and the crew. Truly appreciate you joining us. We'll be back with yet another cluster, that from Madhya Pradesh. Till then, stay with us. Keep watching Tata Crucible. For now, goodbye.